Hi, my name is Sam Martin. I'm a junior history major with a teaching concentration here at CSU. Along with that, I also play on the women's basketball team. I just completed my third season, and I think I have it figured out of how to balance both my schoolwork and my sport in order to be successful in both of them. And that's what I'm going to talk to you about today. I'm going to talk to you about the life of a student athlete and how we as student athletes can be successful in and out of our sport. You probably have seen many stories or know or think have heard of many people in college athletics. From the media, on TV, in the newspaper, there's plenty of stories that are out there. Some might be like the 1983 North Carolina State men's basketball team, the first NCAA Cinderella story to ever win a national championship. That might be a story that you've heard of. Or you may have heard of, know of, or seen Coach Geno Auriemma, the UConn women's basketball coach, where him and his team captured the longest win streak in NCAA history with their 2008-2009 season with 90 wins in a row. Those are two events that you may have heard of, know of, or seen. But that's not all there is to college athletics. Not all of the glory and like famous and parts of this big business that are seen in the news and to the media for the people is not all that it is about being a college athlete. And that's what I'm going to talk to you about today. I'm here to tell you the work that Division I collegiate athletes put in off and on the court and into the community that not only we know about, but the public doesn't really get to see. I'll start off by telling you the daily life of a student athlete. And then I'll talk about how student athletes can be successful in the classroom, how they can be successful on the court, and then how they combine both of them to ultimately be the best student athlete person and that they can be. So the normal life of a student athlete pretty much starts off like any student. We go to class, eat breakfast, eat lunch, but what's different for us is classes have to be done by at least 2 o'clock because that's when practice starts. So we wake up, go to class from about 9 to noon, go home, eat lunch, get ready for practice, then go to the school, practice for probably like 3 hours. We add film, we get ready for practice, get taped to prevent injury, we get ice, get heat, all of that. So with all that combined, we're usually at the school for about 4 to 5 hours a day, competing in practices and then watching film of our opponents, of ourselves, of practices, and then doing treatment before and after practice. So before practice, we'll usually heat our muscles, get taped, stretch, all of that. And then after practice, we'll get ice and treatment to prevent any injuries that could have occurred that day or from happening the next day. After practice is over, we go home, grab dinner. Usually get home around 7 o'clock, and that's when you do homework and get ready for the next day. And it pretty much happens every day. It's an ongoing thing, ongoing all day, every day type of work. But that's what we signed up for as student athletes. Another kind of significant part of being a student athlete is the travel. We play in tons of different places around the country. Even sometimes we go around the world. And the travel that we spend can be very time consuming. It can be hard on the body. It also makes us miss a lot of class. But usually what happens with the travel is you travel a day before a game, stay the night in a hotel, do homework, eat, wake up the next morning, get prepared for your game, have a shoot around at the gym, eat, do more homework, and then play in the game. After the game's over, usually we take a charter flight out, so we leave around 10 o'clock, get home around 2 or 3 in the morning, go to sleep, wake up, and go to class and practice again the next day. So that's pretty much in a nutshell, the life of a student athlete. Obviously, there's a lot more to it with holidays and breaks, and doesn't really exist. As a student athlete, summer break doesn't exist, spring break doesn't exist, even winter break for basketball doesn't exist. We get 5 days for Christmas, and usually we play on Thanksgiving and New Year's Eve, and it's definitely a very time-consuming thing, but we work very hard and put a lot of time and effort in, and you get results. And that's what's so special about putting all of this time and effort in, is because you get results. You see your team succeed and you see what it does for your school and the community. But going on with that, succeeding in the classroom is another really large aspect of being a student athlete. We have the do it all mentality, and that's what's said at our school, is we have to be able to do it all. We have to be excellent in the classroom, on the court, and in the community. With character is a huge part of it, and that's what comes into being a good student. Communication is big. It's the key to being successful. In order to communicate with your professor and classmates, you have to tell them when you're going to be gone, when you're going to miss a test, like when you can make it up. And that's when you start to build relationships with your professors, and they start to realize that you care and they want to help you succeed. And that's one of the largest parts of being a successful student, is communication with your professor. Because of how much students are gone and how much we miss class, it's important that we talk to our professors and let them know that we care about our grades and that we want to do well in their classroom. That also comes down to getting to know your classmates. Because of how much class you miss, you want to make sure that you are able to get notes from those days. And building relationships with those other classmates is huge, because then they'll send them to you and let you know that you have the notes from each day, which will help you later on in tests and all of that, because of how much of the class you actually miss. So, with being a successful student, you also need to be a successful athlete. You're here to do both. You're not just here to be a student, you're not just here to be an athlete, you're here to do them both. So, to be a successful athlete, the main points are: you need to take care of your body. You need to eat right. You need to get enough sleep. And by that, it means 8 hours a night. And by eating right, you eat breakfast, you eat lunch, and you eat dinner. And you eat healthy foods. You eat lots of carbs, and you very much carb load after practices and after games. And it just means that you're going to keep your body healthy and at its best performance level to perform and give your best every single day. And that's what's a huge part about performing in your sport, is you have to be ready to practice and do your best every single day. And then when it comes time to the game, you're ready to do whatever you have to do to win. And that's what being practices are huge. And it means you have to be ready to go no matter what. And it can get tiring. Practicing every single day for an entire year is very tiring. But in order to be the best you can be, you have to do it. And that's a huge part of being a successful athlete, is being prepared mentally and physically every single day. Along with that, you want to get to know your coaches. Your coaches are huge. They're there to help you. You want to be able to communicate with them. Again, communication is key in the classroom and in your sport. You need to let them know when you're not feeling well, when you're not 100% and you can't go, because you have to take care of yourself in order to last the entire season. And then getting to know your teammates is huge. That's your family. You're away from home. You're here. This is your family. And so to get to know them is the best part of this entire experience, because you leave here. All student athletes leave their school with a new family, 15 girls that they'll know for the rest of their lives. In order to be successful in them both, like we've talked about, being a good student and a good athlete, it takes a lot of balance, balancing your life, balancing the different aspects of your life. But the main key to that is time management. Managing your time to be the best you can be. So having enough time to do your homework at night, and having enough time to go in and shoot extra in the morning. And that's what really makes the difference, is planning out your weeks, planning out your months, and making sure that you have everything down to what you need it to do in order to get everything you need done. That's definitely one of the biggest parts of being a successful student and athlete. Along with that is giving back. Giving back to the community is huge, because you're given such a great opportunity in the classroom to get an education and to make an impact on people's lives, that you have to give back to the community, and you have to let the people know you care and that you're honored to have this opportunity and experience as a student athlete. Even though the media may make being a student athlete look glorious, that's not always the case. There's more to being a collegiate athlete than just what's seen on the TV and what's seen on those big games and in the media. There is schoolwork, teammates, and the community to think about. while being the best athlete that we can be. Obviously, the whole process is not easy, and trust me, we're not complaining. It's worth it. All the sweat and tears and hours put into the classroom and on the court are instantly worth it when you see that little kid's face as you sign their poster after the game. You know you're going to graduate with a new part of your family that will always support you. And when you make that winning shot in the overtime of the championship game, it makes all of this hard work, sweat, and tears worth it. So like I said, we're not complaining when we say it's a hard life. But like the famous quote always said, no one ever said it would be easy. They just said that it would be worth it. And I think that perfectly describes the life of a student athlete.